Hello YouTube. Here we are back again with the 05 RAM 1500. And what we're doing today is replacing the power steering back in the front end. Right now we've got a leak going on here. It's leaking power steering fluid. The steering's very loose, not really there. Got all the tie rods replaced and ball joints, so this is the last culprit. Alright, to start off with this, as you can see, you have your inner tie rods, the vacuum pinion set, when you're looking at it like this here is the front end. This faces towards your front bumper. You've got two spots here they'll have hoses going into. And here's your other inner tie rod. This one here goes to the driver's side tire and passenger. These here is what supports it into the front of the frame. Alright, let's go to the front end, so we can start there. As with everything else, when you're working on a vehicle, always make sure you have it on jack stands for safety. What we're going to start off by doing is loosening the outer tie rod, which I've already done. Also, you're going to make sure that in the vehicle, your wheels are turned completely straight. So you put it on there, it's mostly lined up till you get to an alignment shop. These here, you can use a 21mm socket or 13/16. We'll make sure it's a deep well socket. It's still got resistance to it, so this here is still good. Alright, so that lay. Yep. You'll do this on both sides. You know what I do? Take that nut back on here so you don't lose it. So we'll go to the other side, we'll do the same thing. Once again, if you're in a tie rod, take the nut off. Alright, with the outer tie rod, what you can do, if it's stuck inside there, you can take a hammer, pound it right here to knock the thread locks loose. Or you get a tie rod and ball joint separator. Just take it, slide it in, or gently pound out the hammer. Be able to knock it up. And once again, take it out. Take your nut and you'll slide it back on, just so we don't lose it. I apologize, I did miss a step. Before you have to take the tie rod out of the knuckle, you want to take like an adjustable wrench or something like that. You have these locking nuts up here. I'm going to get those loosened up. Alright, Once you get these two nuts back here loosened up, take the tie rod out, put a nut back on there. What you want to do next, when you take this off, it twists. So you twist it, you want to count how many times it goes. Alright, so about 22 times. And then for a new one, you need a steering rack to not come with these. You want to take them off as well, because you'll need them when you install the new one. Right, we'll be right back. Alright, we've got those off. I set them right here next to the tie rod. Alright, so next step is go back to the driver's side and do that one. Alright, as before, on the passenger side, put the tie rod back inside the steering knuckle. Get these both loosened up with that adjustable wrench. Take this out. Put the socket, the nut back on. Once again, we gotta twist it and count. That there was 20. And you want to take these off as well, like we did on the passenger side. Alright, next thing we gotta do is get up here underneath. Right here, you have the front bumper. Got the engine block right here. Over here is our driver's side. Up in here, you get a good view on it. You have the top hose fitting and the lower hose fitting. This one up here, I can't find my vents to actually fit on it. So what we're going to do instead is use a small adjustable. So you get a good view on it. Alright, so what I've done with this, right here, we have the driver's side wheel well. You take your little black cover piece out of here. You can reach up. There's that top socket right there. what I was able to do is get my wrench, get a better view on it. Look at it on here. Able to twist it. It did take a lot of pressure, so be very careful when you're doing it. Alright, as you can tell right here, that's fully out. So next what we'll do, we'll take it out. And you'll probably need something to drain the fluid into to prevent making a huge mess. So for that, I've just got a pitcher here, cut the top out of it. Alright, and same thing with this one here. Just get it readjusted on there. Takes a little bit of pressure as well, so be careful. It's a very tight spot, so I apologize for the interruption. Alright. Now we've got it all loosened up. As you can see right here. Alright, next thing we gotta do is right here. So I can get the camera up there. We got this nut bolt here, we gotta take it off. There is no nut on the back side, so you gotta worry about that. We gotta loosen this up before we can finally drop it. Alright, so this bolt here, it is a 13mm. When you're working on it, you want some way to stabilize your steering wheel. Otherwise, when you try to loosen this bolt, it's just going to completely turn on you. So have a buddy, use some ratchet straps, whatever you got, to get loosened up and taken off. Alright, here's that bolt. You want to make sure you put it off to the side so you know right where it is. Then next, we are ready to fully drop the power steering rack. So you want to come to the front of the vehicle. Right here, you can see it. There's a 24mm socket. Nice big breaker bar. Those two bolts right there. We gotta take those off. So you have the entire front bar here. Support. These here would hold the power steering back to the vehicle. I've already got mine loosened up. Now, it's at this point you want to be very careful. As soon as you take these two bolts out, it's going to drop. Alright, as you can see, those bolts are taken out. Next thing is right up here. All you gotta do is take that ball joint fork, slide it right there, and pop it. Now you're ready to take your steering rack completely off. Alright, so right here we have the new one and the old one. All we'll need to do is take these here and knock them out so you can slide them into the new ones. Alright. Alright, disregard what I just said. You do not pound these things out. Alright, this here, the ball joint tie rod separator, it's a very good investment. I've used it for a whole lot of things besides what it's made for. What you need to do is right up here in this little crevice, take a pry bar or something, try to wedge it in there, and start pushing it up. You can take a little fork here, and start wiggling it out. Just like that. You get a little piece here. This is what holds it inside of it. Then what you can do with the ones on the back side, at this point we take it, we flip it over. Take our ball joint separator. Just like that. Just gotta kind of wiggle these out. Just like that. Now we are completely done with the old one. As we have the new one right here, so what we're going to start off with is take these little black pieces, just like that. Now what I would do, make sure you The same way you took off the front, put it back on the front. What I would do is take a trusty hammer. Alright. You want to pound out the hammer and be gentle with it, just enough so it's on there, nice and flush. Now we flip it over. And we do the same thing to the back side. Alright, so once you have these back in here, like I hit it just hard enough till it goes in there. Once it stops moving, I stop pounding on it. It's not all the way down in there. When we tighten it back onto the frame, it'll pull the rest of the way into it. Right here is the back side, where the bolt will come out of it. Alright, now we're ready to take the new power steering rack and put it on the truck. Be right back. Alright, when you go to install the power steering rack, what you want to do is make sure right up here that lines up before you do too much work. Then you want to get at least one of these inside of here to help hold it in place. If at all possible, I'd get a friend to help you, because it's a hard one-man job. Now we gotta take that piece and get it completely up inside there. Alright, what I went ahead and did next is I've got both of my support bolts inside of it, completely nice and tight. What we're going to do next is go outside the vehicle, back into the wheel well, connect a bolt up there, and both of our lines, so we can get finished up with this project. Depending upon the steering rack that you purchase, you may or may not get one of these, but this one I did not, so I'm going to reuse the old one. So simply all you're going to do is come up inside here. You're going to pop the steering wheel piece off of this and slide that down there. Get all the way nice and tight. Alright, I'm going to take that bolt. We're going to get it started back in here. Take our 13mm socket. And get it nice and in there. Alright, so the next thing, we're putting these hoses back on. Basically put them back where they actually came from. And once again, depending upon the rack that you buy, you may or may not get new little rubber rings. All you simply gotta do is take your hose right here, you pop the old one off, put the new one on. Do the same to both of them. I've already installed the new ones. So what we're going to do is come down here to the bottom one first. And make sure when you're putting these in, you have them straight as can be. Make it a whole lot easier, and you don't risk damaging anything. Alright, so once you have these hoses back in there, make sure they're tight, but do not over tighten them. Just enough so you know it has a seal, and you won't have a power steering fluid leak. Make sure this is on there nice and tight. make sure your front support brackets are there nice and tight as well. The last thing you gotta do, put your tie rod ends back on, hook it up, put your tires on the vehicle, and get to the alignment shop. Have any questions, I'll leave my contact information inside the comment, or in the description box. Shoot me an email or contact me on the social medias. Goodbye.